Okay, so Magic the Gathering MMORPG, now known to us as Magic Legends. It was announced as being in development absolute years ago. I think it was in around 2017 or something like that.
You know that, like, action MMORPG that they were talking about? Yeah, turns out it's not an MMO, and it looks like...
where you can create a Planeswalker, enhance your deck with a handful of abilities, and highly customized specifications in an MMO action RPG shell. Now, Magic Legends, is this the MMO that we've been waiting for, or is this something completely different?
Looking at the game, the first question I ask myself is this a mobile game? Why is the UI designed exactly how mobile games look? And why does the gameplay and graphics look almost identical to Diablo and mobile?
Basically, it looks like a mobile game, right? 4 control buttons in the bottom right, and I imagine you would have a movement joystick in the bottom left. They haven't said it's going to mobile, but this looks like the sort of free-to-play MTX game that I would 100% expect to try to milk the mobile market.
Now that I see the UI, that looks like it's meant for a mobile game. Oh, by the way, it's going to be on Xbox and PS4 and PC. Probably going to go to Switch too, and it probably is designed with mobile in mind.
Magic Legends will be a top-down isometric ARPG, and honestly, this is not what I would have expected from this game being promoted as an MMORPG for the first 3 years since it was revealed to the public.
To me, this looks like, there's some game that Blizzard made. I think the first one came out in the 90s. I can't quite remember the name of it. But yeah, this is quite clearly a Diablo clone. We are living in the days of, Path of Exile getting critical acclaim, and we have Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2 coming up. So it seems like our friends at Cryptic Studios and Perfect World, more likely, wanted to cash in on those PoE neat bucks,
Console ARPGs are pretty underrepresented, and it looks like from the trailer that the UI is specifically designed for console use. And yes, it does come off super mobile-like.
What we could have expected, especially because they called it a fucking MMO, is maybe something that looked and played a little bit differently. Maybe even to the point of something like Diablo 4, where it has MMO light features, where players can actually join it and do like world bosses and stuff.
Well, it certainly seems as though this isn't really an MMO. It could be an isometric MMO, I suppose, old school RuneScape or like Ultima or something, but no, it's really not.
This game's going to get absolutely slammed by people, and I know exactly why. They've absolutely fucked everything about this game from the jump. They've advertised it as a Magic the Gathering MMORPG, and then they've basically presented a mobile-looking Diablo clone ARPG.
Well played, Cryptic. Very sneaky of you, because they have edited in the last few weeks the game's description everywhere to remove all mention of MMO from the game, which is kind of interesting, right? So what they've done is they've scrubbed any mention of it being an MMORPG, and they're going for this generic description of it as an action RPG now. So
from the gameplay, it looks like it plays good, but it doesn't seem that interesting or different from any of the other ARPGs that are currently out on the market.
Because originally they said, experience stunning visuals and sound as we bring Magic to life in this next-generation MMORPG. Next-generation MMORPG, by the way.
From the article, which I'll link down below, deck building will be a prominent feature in this game. From building a deck of 12 cards that constantly cycle, with 4 active at a time.
Also, the fact is, it just looks like a rather generic Magic-style Diablo clone. The whole thing is meant to be that you summon creatures, which is a very old-school interpretation of Magic, actually, this whole idea of the player being the one summoning the creatures as they're played. Kind of moved away from that a little bit when actual Planeswalkers were added to the game, although still technically they're, like, coming to your aid, I guess. But it's a very old-school interpretation of Magic.
You probably gotta go farm crafting materials, not just literal loot, and then you gotta go use that crafting materials, make keys, open boxes, then get your sweet new spells, which are really just recolors, and then you go and do some procedural generated map, which is just a recolor. Everything is flat, fighting the same enemies you've always fought over and over that are just recolored.
Really underwhelming on all fronts, whether you look at this as an MMORPG fan, an ARPG fan, or a Magic fan. And that's not to say this is not going to be a good Magic game that has a lot of Magic stuff in it. It's not going to be a good ARPG. It could be both of those things, but just looking at it, it doesn't seem that way at all.
From the gameplay, spells will be unlockable, Volatile Thrall was unlocked during the trailer, and this tells me that spells can be unlocked through leveling, completing quests, or gaining XP.
Even the phrase collect spells, I mean, this is a free-to-play game. If you can't guess where the MTX is going to be in, then I pity you. But maybe don't download any mobile games. But yeah, so obviously this is where the MTX is going to come in. It's going to be pay to win. You're going to pay to upgrade the spells that you have.
There's likely it's going to be like a gacha system in some way. They're going to have some sort of gambling system. It's Magic.
Classes are not locked, and they are completely customizable, and you can use up to 2 colors at a time.
Classes, choose your hero. All right, cool. So here we see the classes of the game. We have not Jace. The Mind Mage personifies cool intellect. Best sentence. But yeah, I mean, I hate the character design, honestly. Being 100% honest, it's unoriginal. And then we have the Geomancer, where again, they've kind of, you know, asked what does red and green do. And it's like, oh, well, they absorb blows that would incapacitate other planeswalkers with their rock shield. Yeah, rock shields. Iconic. It's a bit soulless, right?
It's extremely disappointing. I had a very harsh initial reaction to this gameplay footage. I originally wanted to do a live reaction to it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I was very harsh.
We get some more just generic stuff. Walk your own path. Yeah, whatever. Control the chaos. Again, they're focusing on the horde fighting. Strategically choose the spells in your library because they'll be drawn at random as you fight. So it is just chaos mode. Collect and upgrade. Discover a myriad of spells and... Can you guess what you're gonna have to buy? Can you figure it out yet?
Except in Magic Legends, you'll only be playing with up to 2 other players in a party of 3.
Up to 2 other planeswalkers. Next generation MMO. So yeah, Magic Legends is not an MMO, but what it is probably shit.
We now see the gameplay, and a lot about it just kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, doesn't it? You know? Yeah, I think so. As somebody who was giving Diablo Immortal the benefit of the doubt, I'm thinking, I don't know. Maybe if you didn't call yourself an MMO and if you didn't promote it a certain way beforehand, maybe I could have went into this feeling a little bit better, but I don't. It's perfect world and cryptic. You both have had some issues with your games as a service before.
I should have known with the companies involved that this is what it was going to be. I would just like to ask companies to please stop telling us a game is something that it very blatantly isn't, because you're just doing that for clicks, you're doing it for advertisement, you're doing it for hype, and I guess people are talking about the game now, so congrats on that marketing, but I'm not seeing anything positive. I'm just seeing people shit on the game, so I guess you got your hype that you wanted. I hope the game's cool. For me, it's off my list of interest. It's off my list. First and foremost, as an MMORPG channel, this isn't one.